Hi everyone. This is our individual income protection webinar, part one of our new webinar series focused around DI and how to leverage the DI to help your clients protect their income. We're putting these on to help you integrate DI in your practice and recognize the opportunity that DI affords you and help you generate some secondary revenue because of it. This first webinar is going to be a little bit more basic, but it may present things in a different way that might resonate a little bit more with you or your clients. We're going to try to keep this one short and sweet, so without further ado, we're going to get started. The main thrust of disability insurance comes down to this question: what would happen if, due to an illness or injury, you were unable to work and earn an income? 7 in 10 Americans could not make it 1 month without financial difficulties showing up, and 1 in 4 would have problems immediately. So protecting the client's income is definitely something that needs to be looked at, definitely a concern. What about workers' compensation? While workers' comp is a great coverage and it absolutely works in its niche, there's a lot of time that workers' compensation will not cover you for a disability. If you're not injured or you don't have an occupational illness, then it will not provide any coverage. In fact, only 1% of workers missed work due to an occupational illness or injury in 2016. Another option that we have outside of disability insurance is Social Security. However, you have to be unable to work because of a medical condition that's expected to last at least a year or result in death in order to apply. Only 34% that applied had their applications approved. If it works, that is awesome, and Social Security can be a great coverage to have, but it takes a very long time. The average processing time is more than 18 months. And you are limited as far as the definition of total disability. So it seems logical that we should look somewhere else to help our clients protect their income. Oftentimes we hear a lot of objections from the clients when we approach them on that subject. First one that we're going to look at here today is I already have it. They may have individual or group coverage or a combination of both. But often, while the clients do know that they have coverage, they don't know what it is, and they don't know the definitions. And honestly, there are some times that they don't put a claim in, not because they're not disabled and not because they couldn't, but because they don't realize their policy provisions. I would encourage you to take a look at what your clients have, and if it's sufficient, then that's great. But if not, then that's a conversation you need to have with them in order to make sure that they're adequately covered. The second objection that we're going to take a look at is it's too expensive. Now keep in mind, clients are only willing to spend between 1 and 2% of their annual income on disability products, so max benefits to age 67 isn't a fit for everyone. Sometimes we need to adjust the benefits in order to place the case. Some of the ways that we can kind of alleviate this objection is return of premium riders at the end of their policy, age 65, 67. They can get all their premiums back, less any claims paid. A second option is the adjustment of the benefit, whether that's a benefit period reduction from to age 67 to a 5 or a 10 year, or an adjustment from the elimination period side of things, from a 30-day to a 60 or 90-day, or from a actual benefit dollar amount. Maybe instead of $1,800, you quote $1,500 because that's a more realistic price point for your client. The last one is to show your client the cost of waiting. This is especially true when you have clients who understand the need for disability income and understand the need for protection of their income, but don't want to buy now, and they feel that they would be better suited in waiting to see if anything happens. The last objection we're going to look at today is what I call the Superman complex. That will never happen to me. While a lot of people feel that way, 1 in 4 of today's 20-year-olds are going to be disabled before retirement. So it just simply is not the case that it will never happen to you. And I feel like this objection stems out of the belief that most disabilities are caused by accidents, whether that's car crashes or falling down the stairs. In fact, the most common reasons for long-term disability claims are illnesses like cancer, heart attack, diabetes, and other disorders and disabilities like that. That was our last objection that we're going to take a look at today. So now we're going to transition into a couple of examples of the magic of DI coverage. First example is a 46-year-old male. He works in the insurance industry. He's a good friend of me and of the organization, but he was absolutely the picture of health. Hardly ever sick, worked out at 5:30 every morning, and never did anything unhealthy, smoking tobacco, chewing tobacco, anything like that. Because of his Superman complex, he decided to opt out of disability coverage, and during a routine physical at his doctor's office, he was diagnosed with throat cancer. He was unable to work at all for 9 months and unable to work full-time for a full year. And he didn't have any DI coverage to fall back on to protect his income. After the 9 months, he was able to return to work part-time. He wasn't able to just speak as long as he was used to doing. He wasn't able to go out for as long as he was used to doing and that he had before his disability. This would be a perfect time for a residual rider claim in that, because the two of the main triggers are 20% loss in income and time at the occupation. When I was talking to him, he made sure to mention if it can happen to him, it can happen to anyone. And he's actually turned around. He's cancer-free now and has turned around and become one of our best DI producers. Now looking at a different example, we have a young ER doctor. Didn't think that she would need DI, but in the conversation with her agent, she was convinced otherwise and ended up purchasing it. Developed ulcerative colitis a couple of years later. Had to go in for a series of surgeries that kept her out of work for about a year. And thankfully she had the coverage, so she was able to take care of her young daughters while she needed to get the surgery done, and was able to keep her lifestyle and keep not fall into the financial difficulties that a lot of people face when they have a disability. A couple of years later, she meets and marries an executive at a printing company. So they go to their agent's office and they're talking about life insurance, and the agent brings up disability insurance to the husband. After a little bit of hemming and hawing, he eventually decides to buy it, and it's a very good thing that he did, because he had an undiagnosed aneurysm and a valve issue with his heart. He ended up having to go in for life-saving surgery and was out of work for years. Had he not bought the DI, he would not have been able to protect his income, and his family would not have been able to live the same lifestyle that they were accustomed to. Starting to wrap things up here, I just wanted to mention our customized care program. This is for if you're having any uncomfortable with DI, if you're uncomfortable with DI at all. This is something that you can use to help you approach your clients in the most professional way. Obviously, traditional brokerage is how we are dealing with you guys now. The guided consultation is a little bit more hands-on. We can come out and see clients with you, fill in any gaps as far as that goes with the guided consultation. With the boutique outsourcing, that is basically a referral. If you are just do not want to deal with disability at all, but recognize the need with your clients, you can absolutely refer them to us. We're not in the client stealing game. That is not our modus operandus. So we're just trying to make sure that we're helping you and your clients out as best as we can. If that's some way that we can do it, then we are absolutely open to that prospect. Here's some resources that I used in putting together this presentation and just on general knowledge. The one thing I wanted to mention is the I Love DI podcast. Our president, Ray Phillips, was on with Chris Carlson, the DI coach. And if you have a couple minutes, I definitely recommend giving it a listen. Have some great ideas on GSI and group in that podcast. Other than that, we're just wanted to get these on for you, so hopefully we could present the need and the opportunity that DI has for us, help us further talk to our clients and get them more involved with their own life and make sure that they're protected in the worst case scenario and, make a little bit of revenue on the side for yourself. We will be sending out an email letting you guys know when our next income protection webinar will be coming out. But until then, if you have any questions, please give us a call, 412-847-0778. Thanks for watching and attending.